So it is Friday night, waiting for my steak to rest. Talk about the wine I'm having in a minute tonight. And also, just talk about some wine. An amazing one I had the other night. I have a pseudo unboxing here with some wines I purchased. So let's just talk about what I got here. So tonight's wine, steak, I'm pairing with an Obsidian Ridge The Slope 2016. So good 7 years of age on it. And 100% Cabernet. They call it the Slope because it starts at around 2,200 feet elevation. It goes up to 2,400. So they're calling this one the Slope. I've had the Chief. I've had what they call Half Mile. I've had their regular Estate. I'm not quite sure if I had the Slope yet. And definitely not the 16. This is probably one of the library releases they have. So it's not a very, very old library release, but at least has a little bit of age, and it's not their current release, which would have been like an 18 or 19. So I think it needs to open up more, but it absolutely has this dark, fruited, blackberry pie, unctuous nose. Oh yeah, it smells extremely, extremely ripe. You know, ripe blackberries and cassis and a lot of ripe dark fruits. It smells extremely big. There's even a what's it called? Almost, it's going to sound a little odd, but like a fig and prune pudding, but like that kind of viscosity on the nose with that type of jammy but figgy type sweetness. I want to see what the alcohol is. 14.7% alcohol, so decently sized. Before I talk about the unboxing, I had probably one of the best Cabernets I'd ever had in my life recently. It was a 2014 Peter Michael Le Pavot, and I've known about Peter Michael, the winemaker, the winery, for years. I specifically discovered them when I was looking for specific Chardonnay. Chardonnay just made in a very Burgundian style, but a very serious style, using oak but not getting over oaked. I never had one. They were just too expensive. And then I just discovered other Chardonnays and never really quite went back to it. And I know that winery, he also makes Cab. And again, the entry point isn't very low. So this was a $200 and something Cabernet that was gifted, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And it needed to open up. It was, you could tell it was something special when it opened, but you could really tell it was something special after it opened up. And it just had some aromas and flavors that just were so unique to that Cab and not like every other Cab. It's hard to describe. I wish I would have had a paper and pen and written some of it down, but I did not. So that is delicious. Delicious factor, 10 out of 10. There's length. The tannins are extremely silky. They're there. This wine could age longer, but they're extremely silky. The alcohol's in check. This is a awesome Cabernet. It's awesome. I'm not quite sure on the price point, but if I have an opportunity to buy another 2016 of this, I would absolutely do it. Even a little bit of a slightly underripe pomegranate to go with all those ripe fruits, and it just gives it a little bit more of a balance and an acidity to it. And it's really great. So it's even like mouth-watering a little bit. Really great wine. Really, really great. Another one I had yesterday was, I read an article in Wine Spectator recently about a younger winemaker that took over Zuccardi in Argentina. And one of the wines, Malbecs he's done, is called Concreto, and it's made 100% in concrete eggs. No oak, and he's really just trying to show the full expression of Malbec. And had it last night, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. You know, in my mind, it's like, oh, I know it's fermented and aged a little bit in this concrete egg, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, it has a concrete taste. It doesn't have a concrete taste. I mean, it tasted concrete, but it did have an absolute minerally taste to it. and a purity of fruit and dark fruit. But there was some other elements. As it opened up, it definitely needed some air. Maybe it was a little reductive. It wasn't stinky, but it kind of needed to open. And once it did, it was even better and more minerally. But then the dark fruits were still there, but it wasn't like this overly unctuous thing. It was in light. It was definitely like a medium plus type of bodied wine. The tannins were in check, wasn't super high tannin. I think he's trying to make some more serious Malbecs as well that are higher priced. This one was about $33, $34. Really great Malbec. So interesting to see this guy that took over, a younger gentleman at the Zuccardi winery. I'm not sure if that's his name too, but I don't remember every detail of the article, but it was pretty good. So let's see what I purchased. Now, this just an Obsidian 2019, not just, but these are great. $34, $35, $33. We've got up a few bucks, from 31 to 32, 33, but fantastic. Let it decant, let it age 5 years. You'll have no problems, no complaints over near anything Obsidian. So the next wine, and I think talking about this, I actually prefer their aged whites, but this is R. Lopez Heredia, and a very famous wine producer out of Rioja that makes wines. It puts them on market late. They really hold them back. They let them age even way longer than most. The wines are more about restraint and about purity of region and not just being this modern style. This is a 2010. This is probably just released. This might even be their latest. For just the Reserva. I don't know what the Grand Reserva would be. But I haven't had one of these in a long time. But you're talking about a Reserva level wine, 2010. You can buy it now and it was like $50-something. And the last time I had it, it was phenomenal. They're aged whites that I find, unbelievable. If I could find some of those are phenomenal. They're one of my first entry points into aged white. And gosh, I wish I could find it. And the white grape they use, this is Rioja, mostly Tempranillo. The white is called Viura. I think it's got other synonyms in other places in the world, but fantastic. If I wish I could find it. But this is what this one is. So, had this recently. I call it, this is a really good budget Barolo, Silvio Grasso. This is a 2018. I think it's in the 30s, and it's great. I had it recently. I said, if I see it again, I'm buying it again. It's a great midweek Barolo. I want it with some type of meal I'm having. This is perfect for that. So I don't have to open up a $50, $60 bottle. That one's great. I did also have another great Barolo recently. That was from Prince and Corkscrew. I don't remember the name offhand. But I do plan on buying another one of that. It was like $36. So a little more than this, but still great. You know, anything sub 40 and Barolo. So the Alba, the Silvio Grasso, that one, you're getting a bargain for a named wine from that region. Yeah, you're not getting Conternos or something like that, but you're still getting great wine. So some of these other ones are going to be interesting. Let's see what else I got. Oh, I got another one of these rosés. So the Tiburon. From the Tiburon grape. This is from Provence, and it's getting warmer out. It's going to be rosé season to a degree, and gosh, this rosé is awesome. And this will be the rosé that I will buy every time I see it. It's in the 30s. It's an expensive rosé, but it's fantastic. I feel like it's got an elegance to it. I feel like it can age. I do like some other rosés I had last summer. I think I had my first epiphany, not epiphany, that's the wrong word. First appreciation of some rosés last summer, more so than other summers. So let's see if it continues as the weather gets warmer. What's next in here? Oh, I always like Chenin Blanc. So this was a South African Chenin from Stellenbosch, South Africa. I don't know much about it at all. It was very inexpensive, I think. I think it was in the 20s, maybe. Is there anything else worth mentioning? It's got some barrel aging. You know, 35-year-old single vineyard. I mean, it actually sounds, it's got a wax top. I mean, for the price, if this is good for the price, this is a 2021 though, super, super young. And I love to drink Chenin older, but I'll pop it, see how it is. I don't find a lot of South African wines around here. It's like Australian wines. They're some of the other great experimental great wines of South Africa, Australia, they're just not here. I'm not finding them. There's no store that I know that has them. Just what's happened. And I know Australia's doing a ton of experimentation. So, the next three I bought from a restaurant. And it happened to be half-price wine on Wednesday. And some of the wines on this wine list, this wine list was probably one of the most exciting wine lists I've ever seen in my life. And it had some really great producers, Mathiasen and Venate, which is a brand, but very difficult. It's a group of people that came up with the brand, and difficult to find any of the wines. There was Marcassin. I mean, they just had some great stuff. So I've never seen a Mathiasen cab ever. So I've always wanted a Mathiasen cab. It's more of a restrained style. This is only 13% for a 2019 cab, and I think it was $70. So super cool, super excited to try this one day. No idea what it'll be like. You know, could he possibly keep the restraint in there when you got this ripe fruit? But I think he picks earlier than most people. It's kind of what him and his wife do. Forget his, I think it's Steve and Jill Mathiasen, if I'm not mistaken. I had a Chardonnay while I was at the restaurant, and it's a restraint. It reminds me of Frog's Leap, but more elegant. And it's great. It's great. And it's, you wouldn't even know. I mean, it's got the acidity. It's got structure. It can age. I drank a young version of it, but it's just great wine. And they make great wine. So, what's next here? So, oh, speaking of, the Envenate, and this was like $27. These wines are like impossible to find. And this was the only one they had, I think. 13% alcohol, and I'm pretty sure this is a Grenache blend out of, and this is a Spanish one. Gosh, I don't really know that much about it to really even know. When I drink it, I'll just give my review then. I'll make sure that I do a video when I drink this, and maybe even do a little research on Envenate before. But I discovered it from just listening or watching something or hearing about it, and then doing my research and looking into the wines. It's like, yeah, can't find it anywhere. These wines either are small prod or small production, or they're just very difficult to attain, or just nobody's carrying them. Don't know. Don't know. But now I got one. Let's see what it's about. So another wine on my wish list of region to try. So this will be my first Canary Island white I've ever tried. I'm pretty sure it's an indigenous. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know. It's another Envenate. That is too crazy. Well, that's a coincidence. I did not do that on purpose. I'm pleasantly surprised. So, I don't know the grape in this, but I'll do this one on camera too. I don't know what to expect from a Canary Island white. This was inexpensive too, in the 20s. No idea. No idea what to expect. Blanco, just says white, and I know the grape varietal was on a 12%. The other one's 13. So I'm thinking that they're just trying to make. I think they consider these, like, I hate to use the term natural wine, but I think they consider them natural wine. Anyway, that's it. Super cool wines. Some stuff I've never had. South Africa, I hadn't had in a while. I had the Silva Barossa, but the Mathiasen, two Envenate is a Chenin from South Africa. The Heredia de Lopez, you know, Lopez de Heredia. I'm sorry, I got it backwards there. Haven't had that in a while, but that'll be a lamb, pork, most likely lamb. I really want to pair that with some lamb. I think that it's going to make the lamb just sing. So, 14 minutes in, way too long a video. I haven't done this in a while, and it's time to eat. Have a good night.